Hi, my voice is a little bit shot still because I've been sick and I didn't stream on Sunday because of that. But I think I feel better now, so forgive me if I cough in between or something like that, and I'll try not to do that. I decided to start the stream a little bit earlier today because I wanted to try a couple things and I wanted to see how they work out and how I like them and if I want to add them somewhere. Mm, I've been, I don't know, struggling to find my place. Um, Doing like everyday job things since I don't know if I mentioned that, but I guess real quick to give you an idea, I um, I just recently became a self-employed yoga teacher, and that took a hard nosedive during the pandemic, and I kind of had some issues uh, keeping it up, and at the same time, I also suffer from complex PTSD. So, and I'm assuming if you hear, you read that in the description. So, um, that kind of caught up with me at the same time, or like a lot of things happened at the same time, and I did mention some of that in my rant video. Um, so I don't know. I'm just I'm looking for alternative things to do and to yeah, I can't answer that right now. I'm looking for alternative things to do, and one thing that I've been doing is that came out of like a necessity was my old diaries got wet, and I wrote them in I don't know, back in the 80s we used, I don't know if you still use, I don't think you do, I don't know, like um ink pens that where you could like erase stuff and rewrite them and stuff like that. So um when the water got in there, it got really messy, and so I started. I found this online thing. If you're interested, I can. I don't know if I can link that somewhere. For the YouTube thing, I can link it in the YouTube description. Where it's called Diaro, and you can basically do your diary stuff online, and you can add pictures, and you can add your mood, and you can add your time. It automatically does it. It even adds the weather nowadays. It's pretty cool. It doesn't cost anything, and you can sync it through all your different devices. So when I'm somewhere where I was like, I can use my laptop, or I can use a tablet, or you can even do it on the phone. But I mean, if you want to do that, so I kind of prefer the good old fashioned way. I put it back upstairs now. Here's the current one. I don't know. I have a mess here, so it's like usually which one's the one I'm transcribing right now? It's this one. Usually I write by hand. Um, or I used to write by hand all the time, and now I alternate. So sometimes I type, and then I still print it out though, and I put it in the. I don't know if I did it with this one. Meek, nah, not with this one, because it's so small. But so I print it out on like sticker paper, and I just cut it and put it in there, and it works pretty good. So I do that, and as I was doing that, I started adding to, or like I was started to let me try that again. Started to transcribe my handwritten diaries onto the digital form so I wouldn't lose them. And some of the sentences I already lost, to be honest. I couldn't catch everything from the early ones that got really wet. So, and as I was transcribing them, I kind of like, how it's like, when was the last time you read your old diaries, right? I mean, come on. So I kind of like felt like the urge to like add on to that, or questions came up, or I was wondering about crap, or I just had like another memory that coincided with whatever I was seeing there. So I started getting into writing again, basically. And as I progressed, I started writing more and more in addition to those things, and it's turning into this gigantic project at the moment. And the thing is, obviously, since I was born in Germany and raised in Germany, and up to a certain point, I did not speak the English language. I started writing my diaries in German, and most of them are in German. I actually, in fact, did one entire diary in English, but I switched it back over because it's just confusing. I also wrote some in Celtic runes, which is really dumb because I don't remember how to read them anymore. And I wrote some of it in Sütterlin, which is like that old German language, or that old German writing that I showed in one of my ancestry videos. Well, we'll get back and we'll dive back into that again. Sorry. So I was, and then somehow, how the computer gremlins know what you're doing, and they'll let you kind of know that they know what you're doing, and they'll send you those wonderful things. And I ended up finding a website called Vocal. And on Vocal, you can actually publish stories, and they do challenges and stuff like that. And I was hoping I could enter in one of the challenges because it was called Foggy Waters, which is a short story challenge for writing like a short horror story. And unfortunately, I cannot properly sign up for the website because all they take is credit card, and due to the pandemic, my credit card won't work. So since I cannot use anything else like PayPal or anything else, even though you can actually have a Stripes account connected to that website, and I was kind of hoping that that is what was happening, that it could go straight through my bank account, but it doesn't do it, so I cannot participate in the challenge. Excuse me. I am still submitting the story to get published. It's awaiting review right now. But, I mean, it's my story. And it literally is my story, a part of my story. So it's going to end up in the diary transcriptions for that day. I called the story Peace. And it's a true story. I have a lot of true stories that could get filed under a horror category. And this one is not so much like a supernatural, it's not a supernatural horror story. It's actually a horror story that can happen to anybody in any situation. And it's more like a, yeah, like a, oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna, it gets so freaking technical. So I'm not even gonna do that. So I'm just gonna go, and since it's my story, I wrote it and I have the copyright for it. I can do whatever I want with that story, and it's something that I just wrote today for that challenge, and it's like the first version of it, so it might still change a little bit. And I feel like digging out some of my old stories, and I actually made a Facebook page where I want to share the stories, some of the photographs I'm taking, just some of the creative stuff, because I feel like what I always neglected the entire time of my life, or where I was going for, was that urge to be creative, and forgetting that that is such an incredible outlet. I I would dive into that creative side, or I would I did theater and stuff in school, and what you would consider high school, and I would paint or draw and write a lot, and I would write songs that were not very good, but they helped me process things that were happening at the time, and it helps me to see when I wrote those songs, to get a perspective of what was going on, to get like a full picture. Yeah. So the whole entire time when I was growing up, I was focused on doing things for others, because I felt safest doing those and making sure that other people were okay. So I became a teacher, and I learned about psychology and child development and all these wonderful things that are really important. And I did them because I thought I wanted. Well, it's not quite untrue. I do, and I did want to help other people and other children. But obviously, and most people in that category, and I think I went in that in my rant video as well. So they do that because they need to figure out themselves. Don't we? Don't we fucking all? I swear to God. And everything I did creative, or every creative thing I did, I kept to myself. While everything else, I shared with the world, and went out and did that. And I never felt like that was an outlet that I was really allowed to have, that was to be taken serious. And I mean, then I ended up in hospital, and that's a whole other thing. And then there was like art therapy and all that crap. And yeah, it can be incredibly relieving sitting there and just going completely insane with several red crayons in your hand. But at the same time, you might not want to look at the picture later on. It just took me a while. So yeah, I've and yeah, recently a friend of mine, because we're talking about, she's in the hospital and she can't go anywhere. I know, and she's really stuck. She's literally stuck in bed right now, except for like 20 minutes a day. And with the COVID crap and her being so far away, it's hard to visit her. So we talk a lot on the phone, and we watch videos, or like she's telling me what she's watching. And she told me she was watching You, and I haven't watched You yet. And I can't believe I haven't watched You yet. I hope you have watched You. If you haven't watched You, watch You. Because that is just amazing. And it reminded me again of my love of books. And I'm going to change this setup here soon, whenever I can get stuff out of my old yoga studio, where I can switch things around here in the office. And then I'll have my bookshelves behind me, my babies. And I used to actually clean in a bookstore, but that might just be another, I think I put that in another story. So I fucking love books. I love stories. I love horror stories. I love sci-fi. I love fantasy stuff. I love weird, creepy shit, but I also love raw, real life people stories. And sometimes these things merge. And so it reminded me to go back to reading, and it reminded me to go back to writing. And right now, this helps me immensely in that dip that I'm in. I'm hoping that the therapist that I was finally able to connect to is actually gonna take me, because she is actually a trauma specialist, So that would be really cool. And I found a public place, or like a more like a government run place that helps people out that I didn't know about, that I found out about 100 different corners. And so um, I'm 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 learning to manage, and I'm learning to manage in a different way. So sometimes you have to shift. It's like sometimes the things that were working for you somehow just not working for you, and you need to find a different outlet. You need to look at things. You need to observe what's happening, and you need to say, okay, this is it, and this is what might work, and try it out. So this is what I'm trying out right now. And so I went back into writing, among other things. Not songs yet, because I suck. I haven't had a guitar in my hand in ages, and I'm self-taught, so that's horrible to begin with. But I felt a little bit more confident with this keyboard. So I'm so sorry. There's gotta be a mute button here somewhere, right? Is there a mute button? If I hit M, what happens? Nothing. Yeah, that's lovely. I need to figure out how to do that. And like, the setup is awful right now, but it'll work. So I'm gonna read this story, and if anybody watches, feel free to give me some feedback on it, or let me know what you think. The story is called Peace. It's a true story. It was summer. It was hot. We did what we always do when it's summer and hot. We were kids living in a small town with not much to do. We were the ones that were left over. The ones whose parents could not afford to take us on a trip to the rest of the world. The ones who did not know what it felt like to sit in an airplane for hours, only to spend a week or two in a country where everything seemed foreign. We were the ones that stayed home. We had taken off early that morning, bathing suits, mats, and towels packed on our bikes. It felt good to ride with them, even if it was the outcasts. The ones that belonged together because they did not belong. To go, have fun, and just be. Be a kid. Away from home. Away from having to be quiet, so not to wake my father, who had been working through the night. Or not to wake my little sister, who was 8 years younger than me, and the princess of the family. Not to disturb my mother, who was busy cleaning the house and getting over my father's latest girlfriend. Away from my older sister, who was getting it on with her boyfriend in the bunk bed underneath mine. Away from my grandfather, whose idea of a good time with his granddaughters were different from those of most good grandparents. The public pool was filling fast with stressed parents of small, fussing children, angsty teenagers, and sunburned old couples. We hurried to get a fair amount of space to call our own for the day, laying down our mats and towels before heading out to get dressed. Most of the day was spent lounging on our towels, talking, and eating the snacks we brought, before heading over to the water and cooling down. Mary sat next to me, finishing her soda. I never really liked her. She always made sure I felt like the third wheel, a nuisance. Her long blonde hair reflected the sunlight as she bent over, staring at me with those cold blue eyes of hers. "Come on," she urged, grabbing my arm with her hand, lifting me off my towel. The others are all in the water. This is boring. Reluctantly, I got up to follow her. The others were all in the water. In the big pool. The deep one. That sucked for me, since I was the only one that had not learned how to swim. My dad was a good swimmer, but never bothered to share his knowledge with his daughters. So I was doomed to sit on the uncomfortable tile floor next to the pool with my feet dangling in the water, while everyone else went swimming and chatting. I could feel the cold, uneven tiles pushing into my flesh as I heard Mary mocking me. Really? I don't believe you. Everybody knows how to swim. She dove, only to surface right next to where I was sitting, and pulled herself out of the pool. Dripping wet, she sat down, putting her arm around me. The water from her body started running down my back. It tickled and made me feel uneasy at the same time. The tingling sensation of the fine hairs on my neck and back reacting to the touch was unnerving. I did not like the way she felt. I did not like the words coming out of her mouth, the tone of her voice. Confident and condescending. I did not trust her. As I was listening to that voice, staring down into the ripples on the water, watching the lines of the pool get distorted, moving, I felt the pressure of her hand on my back. Something felt wrong. Get in! Her voice, firm. Me? A short moment of loss of gravity. Was I flying? Falling. I was falling. Face first. Did she just push me in the water? God, I hated her. My eyes, my nose made contact. Water rushing into my nose, my lips pressed tight. A reflex. My eyes closed. Another reflex. Chlorine burning my nostrils. My brain, my lungs screaming, "Take a breath!" Did I hear the other kids? I heard them. Were they laughing? With arms flailing around, randomly thrashing in search of a hold where there was none, and my legs kicking, I realized this was the big pool. The deep one. There was no floor beneath my feet to hold me. Nothing to stop me from going down further. I could feel the fast beats of my heart pulsating through my entire body, every inch, every tip, every bend. Up. I needed to go up. There was water above me now, next to me, below me. I could feel the cold on my scalp. I had lost all sense of where I was. Was I even still right side up? Which way was up? My eyes, I needed to open my eyes. I needed to see. My brain, my lungs, still screaming, "Take a fucking breath!" The gigantic pit in my stomach that was growing by the second seemed to weigh me down, draw me further to the bottom of the pool. I could not think. Open your eyes. It felt like I could actually hear my own voice scream at me in my head. It burned. I saw light for a brief moment. I was aware of up and down. I was still going down. Nothing I was doing with my arms or legs got me back up. How the hell does this work? A muffled sound drew my attention to the shadowy figure moving slowly towards me. My arms, my legs tired, let the draft of the water do the movement for them. I felt my body still going down. How deep was this pool? My lungs were burning now. My entire chest seemed to be imploding. The pressure to take a deep breath was overwhelming. But my heart stopped racing. The pit in my stomach dissolved. I was floating, surrounded by water, touched by water on every pore of my skin. The glare of the sun dancing on this body with the movement of the water, broken sun rays, dancing and caressing my body, kissing my skin, playing with my hair. Relief as the sensation of my exhalation washed over me. I was empty. I was silent. I was away. Truly away from all that weighed me down before. This was it. I would be free. I was able to go, to let go. Basking in the peace, the full peace. I silently watched the shadow come closer. I did not resist. That was a story. That is what I submitted. It basically tells the story of when I went to public pool one summer with my friends. And what I wrote actually happened. I don't remember much of the rest of the day, but as you can tell, I am here. I was later told that Mary, whose name I changed, actually jumped into the pool after me after she realized that I was not kidding and that I could not really swim and I was not fucking around with her. And I guess, I mean, there was like a pool guard or somebody there, and they jumped in. And yeah, that was a fun afternoon. um, I later realized that that voice in my head that was actually talking with me, that that I heard, that I thought that I heard, um, actually belonged to one of my um, my well, I don't. I still don't know what to. How can I translate that into a proper English? Um, the the people living in the back of my head. I don't. That's what I call them. Um, I now believe that it was Motte, which was one of the ones that actually do take over. Um, who sees herself as a very offensive protector, and I think if she would have been conscious at the end of the day, she probably would have punched Mary in the face. And Mary was a person that I got into altercations quite a lot. I actually ended up one time having a whole hand full of her hair in my head. And it was not on her head anymore. You know, that blonde, wonderful, shiny hair. Um, so, yeah, I think she deserved that. I think I've forgiven her since. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was the story, and I do intend to now, because I'm gonna actually switch the mood a little bit from this story to um, yeah, do I have to, can I do that, in that I don't know if I can change how do I change that? Jiminy Cricket. Let me figure that out right now. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna stream output general me no. How do I do that? Jiminy Cricket. Oh, I forgot. Why do I keep forgetting how to do that? Seriously, that is just a sad state of affair. For so many reasons. Video. No, that's not it. Advanced. No, that's not it. Appearances. No, that's not it. See through. No, that's not it. That is not it. Ugh. Jiminy Cricket. I forgot how to do that. I hate that. I hate when I do that. I hate when I do that. La 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 la. That's that one. That is that one. That is that one. That is that one. That is that one. Where do I change that again? Shouldn't it be? No. 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 What is this one? Layout editor. No, I don't. There's a layout editor in here. It's gotta be in settings. Game overlay. Set a hotkey, toggle in the game, view chat and events overlay on top of your game. Well, this overlay might not work with certain games running exclusive. Full screen mode for best results. We recommend a game in window full screen mode. Yeah, well, ugh. Should it be an output? No. from stream title. Where do I change that? God dang it. I'm glad I don't want to be a professional streamer because that's just... Where do I change that? I forgot where to change that. What is happening? And I keep missing the follows. Well, thank you. Thank you, Shaiko342 and Saint Just Germany for your follows. I appreciate it very much. I'm sorry again. Still get a little distracted by all this freaking... No, I don't want to do that either. I'm so bad at this. Where was this? This is my advanced... Oh, I have advanced audio settings. That is just wonderful to find out. What? Kitties. Well, okay, what I'm gonna do right now is... crappity crap. Okay. I am going to figure this out. I'll be right back because this is just annoying. At this... What? Sweetie, come here. Ezio. What, babies? Come here. I got a mess here. I've been sick and it's just... Come on. Come here. Come here, kitty. Come here. Come here. What's wrong, babies? What's wrong? What's wrong, Black Cat? Huh? What's wrong, baby? Come here. Come here. I need to figure something out here. You're gonna help me figure this out? I always think I'm tech savvy, but I'm not. Come here, sweetheart. Come on. Ezio, come here. Come here, babies. Come on. Yes, good boy. Okay, I need to figure this out. So I'm gonna go be right back and figure out how to change this. So, see you in a bit.